So I get asked all the time, how do I market my book? What should I do to be marketing my book? I'm going to say the number one way to market your book is to be on podcast, right? Because then you're hijacking somebody else's audience. You get exposure, you get media clips, you get all kinds of different things and advantages of being on a podcast. So how do I get on a podcast, you're asking? Yeah, sometimes it's not easy to get on a podcast, but you've got to do an automated outreach for yourself. So what I was doing before was trying to search podcasts on my own. I had my assistant reaching out to podcasters. I said, research podcasters, research stages to try and get me on. That just fell into a black hole. I needed a system to be on a podcast. If you're struggling to get on podcasts, let me know. We have an automated podcast outreach system that gets people on 4 to 10 podcasts a month. But besides that, let's talk about what you should do when you're on a podcast. When you're on a podcast, you want to make sure that you're talking about your book, that you're giving key points about your book. Give the podcaster questions to ask you while you're on the podcast. It makes it so much easier. I will tell you, we have 2 of our own podcasts, and it's so much easier when somebody has a book, because then I can go in, look at their book, look at the chapters, skim the book if I want to, buy the book. And then the other thing I suggest is always either give your book away as a flip book, as an opt-in, or give part of it away, or maybe create a workbook out of it or a summary book out of it that you can give away. That's a great idea. I think I might do that with our Be Recognized book. Do a quick summary instead of giving the whole book away. Just give a summary of the book away and give that as a flip book. So then they still want to go and buy your book, because we've talked about before doing a checklist or something like that, or doing your whole book to give away. But I think doing a summary book would be a great idea. I think we're going to try that ourselves. So you want to be able to have them opt in for that so that you can leverage that content, their contact information when you do that, okay? So make sure you're doing that. And another thing you could use to give away is an MP3, like an audio book version of your book. You could give it away for free, part of it, all of it. So it's another way to get people to opt in. So let's talk about after being on a podcast interview. What is that going to do for you? So first of all, you need to use the interview and edit it into smaller clips. So if you edit into smaller clips, now you've got little bite-sized things for shorts for on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. Also, you can use those on LinkedIn. The other thing I want to strongly encourage you, let's say LinkedIn. I would like you to make a blog post or an article on LinkedIn to post it there. And then you can tag also the person that interviewed you and their podcast to try and grow that audience there. So think about creating longer form content that's in a written form from your podcast. So they don't give you a transcript. We always give a transcript with ours. Most people do, but if they don't, you can put the interview and let it run and have Otter transcribe it for you. So then you can pull out quotes and things like that from the interview and use it for social media. The one big tip that I have is a lot of people, when something happens in real time, they promote it and then that's it. They're like, okay, we did all this, we promoted it for a month or whatever, and now we're not going to promote it anymore. I've reposted things from interviews that I've done over 2 years ago because the content was still relevant. The topics that I was talking about were still relevant. So don't let it just collect dust, right? So what I'm telling you also, don't let it collect dust, is your book. Don't let it just sit there. Because you're an author, you can get interviews on podcast all the time, but make it an easy way. Have someone reach out for you. Like I said, I was having my assistant do it. It wasn't happening because she had so many other things to do and it wasn't an easy thing. But we have software that does it automatically for you, automatic outreach podcast system. So if you're interested in doing that, reach out to us and we can get you 4 to 10 interviews a month. But make sure you're using this secret thing to promote your book. Make sure that you're getting on podcast, talking about your book, talking about your business, talking about your background, because it's the number one thing that we have found that has moved the needle, not only in our business, but in our credibility and exposure. So I'm going to tell you again, make sure you get on podcast. Reach out to us at Elite Online Publishing. We have an automated podcast outreach program to get you on podcast automatically booked 4 to 10 times a month. And if you're looking to write a book, of course, make sure you contact us for that. We do all formats, ebook, paperback, hardback, and audiobook. We can even turn your audiobook into a podcast if you want us to do that as well. So reach out to us, whether you're looking to market your book, write or publish your book, we can help you. And if you want to get the number one way to promote your book is being guest on podcasts, reach out to us for that. Looking forward to talking to you again soon.